I'd first like to ask Reverend Dr. Joy Brittain to come forward. Many of us are used to dividing our lives into neat little compartments. Our belief in God and our ethical principles are important to our lives, but also our academic values are too. And both are deeply held. But for Reverend Dr. Joy Brittain, there are no compartments. There are no lines between the believer and the scientist, between the educator and the servant leader. Joy is always looking towards a large horizon that many of us don't even see. She's constantly building, reaching out, making things better, and unlike many, she has no fear of admitting mistakes, of changing her mind, of trying new approaches, of listening, of learning, and of answering our questions on the TRIO listserv. And she sees many opportunities. She sees opportunities in many different contexts, in many, many different venues, whether that's teaching in Nepal, working in a GED program, or building college opportunity on her individual campus, independent college settings, whether that's a public four-year university or a community college. She never fails to see possibilities in both students and her colleagues. Her efforts to build and improve are evident throughout the country in math and science programs at the pre-college level, for her vision, for her academic rigor that you both bring to our community, for your selfless dedication to low-income, first-generation, and students with disabilities to our profession. I am honored to present to you Dr. Joy Brittain. I present you with a Walter O. Mason Award.
I first want to thank Ms. Kay Monk-Morgan, Ms. Maureen Hoyler, the Council for Opportunity Education, and the Board of Directors for the Council in selecting me for this immense honor. I was in shock when Kay called, telling me the good news. I felt unworthy of such an honor when I know there are so many TRIO professionals who have been part of TRIO twice as long as I have and who have dedicated their lives to the cause. I am humbled to be part of this phenomenal legacy of men and women who fight for students every day. I almost was not part of TRIO. My previous position with the grant-funded program was ending, and I had to find another job. I started looking for a position and found an ad in the paper for a TRIO director. I had no idea what TRIO was all about, but I applied, and more specifically for the director for an Upward Bound Math and Science Regional Center at California Lutheran University. Yes. I was not their first choice. They wanted someone else who had administrative skills, and I was the practitioner. The first person turned down this position because it was not enough money. I was their second choice, and so I do have to thank the person who turned down that job. Because since 1996, TRIO has been my life. TRIO is my vocation. It is part of my ministry. My children grew up knowing that I had two sets of kids, my biological children, whom I adore, and my UBMS kids, who I admire and appreciate them for their tenacity and resilience. It was an unbelievable experience being a director of a regional center, bringing students in from the reservations of Arizona, from the fields of Oxnard and Salinas, from the islands of Guam, Marshall Islands, and Yap. To hear their conversations with each other as I walked down the dormitory hallways in the evening was and is such an unforgettable experience. And there was another reason why I almost did not make it in TRIO. For having to put together a summer program from scratch, from selecting students to hiring staff in just 2.5 months, and for those of you in Upward Bound, you know that's not a lot of time, I thought I did a marvelous job. The faculty were happy, the students were happy, the grades were great, and then the night before the students went home to their states and their countries, I caught 4 students on the roof of the dormitory. After I saw them up on the roof, they went into hiding. I did find them all eventually in some very unusual places, and I could have been cool and not done anything about it, since it was the night before they were ready to go home. But I knew that students had to take responsibility for actions, even if those actions were not meant to be harmful. I called their parents, and they went home that night. Oh, yeah. All 4 students did make it back into the program, and all went on to graduate from college in a STEM field. For many months afterwards, though, I thought I was the worst director and almost quit. Yet after speaking to one of my mentors, Dave Ferguson, about what happened, he just chuckled and he said, "Joy, is that all that happened? Count your blessings." And I do count my blessings each and every day, each and every year that I have been part of TRIO. I have learned more from my students than they have from me. I have developed incredible friendships across West Stop and across the country who have been and still are my Rock of Gibraltars. We have helped each other continue our education. We have grieved with each other when we've lost a family member. We have been there for each other in the worst and best of times. I developed a voice because of TRIO, and as Maureen can attest, when she had to referee a lively discussion I was having with our representative, Elton Gallagher, during policy seminar, who never voted on anything TRIO. And it took my having these lively discussions with him for many years, and then with Sergio Galvez taking over where I left off, to have him finally change his mind. Yes. And even when I left CLU, I still checked to see if he voted for TRIO after each vote. TRIO changed me and continues to change me. I'm a better person, a better educator, a better minister because of the lives that I have been so honored to help change, and more importantly, because of those same lives who have helped change me. I want to thank my spouse, Elaine, who had to endure not seeing me during the summers and Saturdays for many years, and had to take the bulk of parenting during those summer months. I want to thank my brother Charles and his wife Joanne for making the trip from Delaware. And it was my brother and his wife who came to see me graduate college. We were all first generation. We could have been TRIO eligible if there was a TRIO program in our high school. I looked up to him because he was the first to get an associate's degree, and then a bachelor's degree, and then went back for a master's degree. He doesn't know it, but he has been my hero in so many ways. I want to thank my mentors, Dave and Matt Benny, Irvin L. Coyne, and Cynthia Park, to just name a few, who believed I had something to give. I want to thank Dr. Arnold Mitchum, who put a fire in my soul. And I want to thank my 3 compadres, Lydia, Michelle, and Tomasa. Your love and support can't be expressed by any words in the English dictionary. And most of all, I want to thank my creator, sustainer, and life giver, who has pulled me from the depths of despair and has celebrated with me my greatest joys. Thank you so much.